Most people think we train just to get stronger or faster. But for me, fitness is how I stay sane. It's how I manage the stress, the pressure, and the constant feeling that I'm not doing good enough as a dad, husband, or even a hybrid athlete. Super excited to have you join me on today's episode of the Hybrid Athlete Dad podcast, where I'm going to be talking about using fitness to manage anxiety and overwhelm. So, without diving a little bit into today's episode, I like to go over anything that's going on in my life that you think that you might find interesting, unique, maybe beneficial, or just honestly just to get something off my chest. So, again, super excited to have you be tuning into today's episode. Traveled over the weekend. I know it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get my runs in. I was taking an early morning flight on Friday, taking an early morning flight back on Sunday, and my dad and I ended up going to the Oklahoma South Carolina football game. So flew out about an hour and a half flight down, hour and a half flight back. So I ended up getting my 30 miles in Sunday to Thursday last week, and just took an extra day off this week, just dealing with travel and everything. And now I ended up dealing with a little bit of a cold, a sore throat. Not feeling 100%, but still wanted to record today's episode for you. So, with that said, so last week's training was great. Sometimes you have to just rearrange your workouts a little bit, knowing that I'm not going to have a great opportunity to run on Friday, as my flight was at board at 6:30 in the morning. So I had to leave my house I wanted to leave my house about 4 in the morning. Or get up at 4 in the morning, leave my house about 4:30, 4:45 to go ahead and catch that flight. So had to rework it a little bit, but nonetheless, that was great to get those miles in last week. And then today, not feeling 100%, noticed the cold coming on, or sore throat coming on when I was on the plane. I just feel sore today, a little achy. Did go to the gym this morning, did five different exercises instead of my usual 8. Ended up running 2 miles on the treadmill, but I'm not going to run any miles outside today, just given not feeling 100%. And I know there's been times where I push myself, and it's almost like that I even need to work out at the gym this morning, but I hadn't worked out since Thursday. And I'm recording this episode on a Monday. So I wanted to make sure that I got my workout in. Whether or not that was beneficial, I'll find out later, but at least got the 2 miles in today and can try to make do the rest of the week. With all of that said, let's dive into today's episode, which again is using fitness to manage anxiety and overwhelm. There's been numerous times in the past months or weeks or days of feeling overwhelmed. Maybe it's something going on at my job. Maybe it's something going on in my personal life. Maybe our daughter is sick and it's throwing a wrench into our schedule that, we're having to figure out. Maybe it's just something going on in my personal business. Maybe it's something going on in my health and fitness that I'm having to overcome, wondering how I'm going to get my miles in for the week. And there's just so many different moments I can look at where I can feel this, being anxious and having this overwhelm, whether I wake up today with it or whether I just have it ongoing. You just never know when it's going to come on. And the purpose of today's episode is just to understand that fitness isn't just physical. It's one of the most powerful tools to manage stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. As dads, we can be juggling family, time with my daughter, time with my wife. I can be juggling work, making sure that I do a good job at my job so I don't get fired for being a not good employee. It's showing up in my side hustle to make sure I'm doing a good job for the clients that are paying me for their work. It's training, it's making sure that I'm going to the gym, that I'm getting my runs in, and any personal goals that I have may be on top of that, which typically related to fitness or building wealth or whatnot. And there's a lot to juggle in the same 24-hour period every single day of getting the job done, of spending time with my wife, being there present as a father, so I'm not thinking about other things when I'm with my daughter and when she's home before work, and then when she's home after work. And then same thing with training. Like, I don't want to be stressed and anxious knowing I have to go out and do a 10-mile run today, and just trying to juggle everything at once. And I find that the more that you ignore your mental health, the more it's going to affect your physical performance, where maybe you're not performing as well as you should. and it can affect your relationships. Maybe you lash out. Maybe you're not as in tune. Maybe you're just not there and you're not present for your family, which is not the place that I want to see yourself be in. Now, the way that fitness works in what we would consider mental regulation is that exercise increases your serotonin, it increases your dopamine, and it reduces your cortisol. So, without getting too technical, those are all good things for you. Now, when it comes to hybrid training, which is lifting and endurance training, I find it helps me not only physically, but mentally. And when I'm running or lifting, I might come in stressed or overwhelmed, and I go into a run, and I can be thinking about everything I have to get done that day. But when I'm out there and I'm on a 7 mile run, maybe I'm thinking about that for the first mile, 2 or 3. But then you get to this point where it gets quiet in your head. It's just me and the road and the music that I'm listening to going out there. I'm not thinking about what I have to do today. I'm not thinking about what I have to do tomorrow. And the same thing can be said lifting. When I get to the gym, put my headphones in, I stretch, maybe do a couple of different exercises. Then by the end of it, I'm just focused on exactly what I'm doing at the gym. And I honestly stop thinking about everything that I have going on in my life. And I just need that 1 hour or 2 hours a day of just being fully present in the moment. And your consistency and your training is what's going to allow you to build that discipline and control, which is going to carry into other areas of your life. Now, when it comes to using fitness for mental health, I want to make sure that you move daily. This could be a short walk or a short run, whatever that may be, but it's going to release that tension in your body. Again, I can't tell you how many times I felt stressed and overwhelmed. And sometimes I feel stressed and overwhelmed because I have to go out and I have to get this 5, 7, 10 mile run in. And I look at my schedule, I'm like, I'm jam packed with meetings and calls and work to get done and family responsibilities. But I just make sure I move anyways. And 99 times out of 100, I'm glad that I did it. I don't think there's any run I've gone on where I'm like, wow, like, I wish I hadn't done that run. Maybe, probably the only time would be when I'm sick. There's been times where I have, not to sound disgusting or gross, but you have a lot of mucus build up and I'm spitting out a lot of, dark, heavy yellow mucus. And that's similar, honestly, to how I was today. And then I go decide, okay, I'm going to go out, I'm going to go on a run. And then it prolongs the problem further. And then that's not what I want. Setting your process-based goals, which is focusing on what you can control. I can't control whether the client that I'm talking to is going to sign up with me on a sales call. I can't control the client at work with the work that they're going to give me. All I can control is what is right in front of me at the moment and what I'm putting my effort in. Where I'm sure if you're working a job or you run your own company, you're getting pinged all day long. There's different messages coming in. It's like every task is the most important task that we have to get done throughout the day, and realizing like I can only control what I can control. I can't control the weather. I can't control the tasks that are coming in. I can't control my clients, but I can control my reaction to them. I can control my thought process behind them. So I find that really when it comes to working out, and maybe it's a goal for deadlifting, or maybe it's a goal for benching, or doing squats. For me, it was a goal was to deadlift 400 pounds. And I can only control what I can control in the moment. And I think that would just carry over so much into your life because it allows you to track the progress. And when you track progress, it allows you to see improvement. And honestly, it helps me reduce my anxiety and build confidence. And I wouldn't say that I track it all the time, but something I've done is at the end of every run, I'll take a picture of my watch. I go back a year and say, oh, I was running on average, 9:15, 9:30s, and then 6 months later, then I'm running about 9 minutes, and then 6 months later, I'm running about 8:45, and I can just see and knowing in the back of my mind and having the confirmation to back it up that I'm becoming a faster runner from just the more times that I'm going out there and getting these runs in. When I work out, I use it as a reflection time whether that's during my runs or whether that's my cooldowns in between sets. Just think about like, what do I want to do with my life? Like, is there certain problems that I'm running into that I'm trying to work through that once I get the blood pumping and blood flowing through my body, it's going to be able to help me solve? And then training early when starting the day with movement is going to help you get grounded before the chaos begins. I know that I work 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, typically say 4.5 out of 5 days a week. So more than every day, or more than 4 days a week, maybe not 5 days a week, but somewhere between 4.5 days a week. Something's going to come up that I didn't expect in the morning that's going to throw some chaos into my day, and I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. Who knows what it may be? But when I train early in the morning, I get that win for the day, and I just feel confident, which helps me overcome that anxiety and overwhelm because I know no matter else what happens in the day, like I got that. I stacked this win. If I get pulled in 10 different directions, I'm gonna be okay. Now, what I really like about working out and fitness in general is it allows you to face this resistance head on, and it's showing my daughter how I handle stress. Maybe she doesn't know what stress is, anxiety, overwhelm, but by me going out there and there's days I don't feel like running, I don't feel like lifting, but I go out there and I do it anyway. Typically when I'm feeling good, today where I'm not feeling 100%, and part of the reason I didn't want to go out and do another 3 miles outside, where I typically would just do a 5 mile run on a Monday, but decided to do two, and then it was pouring rain all day on Monday and cold. So I didn't necessarily want to go out and get the rain and get myself more sick, which is not what I'm looking for. But just giving my daughter that model example of using health and fitness in a healthy way, not being obsessed like I'm going to the gym for 4 or 5 hours at a clip, but going an hour or two. Typically my workout between running and lifting, I'm usually spending about an hour and a half, 2 hours a day between the two of them, Monday through Friday, and just showing again my daughter how I handle the stress and anxiety that comes up through fitness. Now, as we get to the latter part of today's episode, I want to give you some mindset shifts for long term peace within your mind and within your body. That stop chasing perfection and just focus on showing up. Where today I didn't feel like working out, but I did it anyway because I knew I'd feel better because of it. To be determined later, but I definitely don't feel as bad as I did this morning because I got the blood flowing. But I know every day at the gym I go, I'm trying to become a better person. I'm trying to lift more weights, and sometimes that doesn't happen. And not that I want to be okay with it, but just knowing that it just didn't work out this week. Then there's next week, I'm going to continue to show up. It's understanding that physical strength creates your emotional strength, and to and that I want you to reframe stress as a signal to slow down and move with intention. Like I mentioned earlier in today's episode, there's a lot going on between my job, my side hustle, my running, my lifting, family, my daughter. We have another daughter on the way. Work. There's a lot going on, and it can be very stressful. It can be just feel like you're going through the motions some days, where you're just get up, you get into the routine, and you're I want to say, I guess going through the motions is the right word, where you just get up, you're going through, you're getting the tasks done, and then you go to bed. It's the same thing. And sometimes you just need to, and it can be stressful, and you just have to slow down, figure out what you want. Like, is this what I want to be doing with my life for the next while? Is this the type of person that I want to be? And usually those conversations, it's harder to do when I'm sitting in front of my computer and I'm working all day. But when I'm working out, when I'm at the gym, and especially when I'm running, it just allows me to slow down and to get that clarity because I'm out on the road for an hour a day running. And it just allows me to just slow down and become more relaxed and to remove that anxiety and that overwhelming. And not that it works 100% of the time. I wish anytime I was anxious about work or family or anything that's going on, I wish I could just go for a run and it would go away. it doesn't always work like that, but for the good majority of the time, it does. And just, I can't say enough about working out and lifting and just how many times I've been anxious or overwhelmed or stressed, and I just go and get the workout done. I go get the run, and I just feel so much better because of it. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's episode on using fitness to manage anxiety and overwhelm. And I hope you tune into next week's episode where I discuss what fatherhood has taught me about leadership.